regulating our emotions, practicing emotional regulation. What happened to you is not your fault, but it's your responsibility how you cope from it, how you heal from it, and how do you respond from it. That way you don't cut the people that did not hurt you. So practicing regulating our emotions, emotional regulation, it's key. And I say the word practice because it's not easy. Unconsciously, we automatically respond from an emotional state of being when we get triggered. So practicing regulation, practicing being self-aware and mindful of how we're responding when we get triggered, it's key. And I know it's easier to say than done because I know we have been hurt. You have been hurt. We all have gone through traumatic events in our lives that a lot of times we don't even know or we realize that or mood swings or emotional irregulation, it's part of the trauma that we experience. So how do we practice emotional regulation? Let's start by being self-aware and by paying attention when we start feeling an emotion, and ask yourself questions. Why do I feel the way I feel? Am I responding well? And is it worth it for me to respond the way I'm responding? And how is the receiver of your response receiving your emotional, outbursts? It could be anger, it could be frustration, it could be stress, sadness, self-destructive behaviors and actions, right? Because if we don't regulate our emotions create thoughts, and our thoughts create actions, and our actions create reactions, and reactions create the response, and the response create the results. So if we don't regulate our emotions, right, we're going to end up cutting the people that did not hurt us, and we're going to put ourselves in situations that we're going to regret. How many times have you had an emotional, outburst or response, and you regretted what you said, and you regretted how you made the other people felt, and you regretted how you felt about yourself after you responded? So taking deep breaths when we're being triggered is the number one step. Like, take a deep breath. Not everything needs a response. Sometimes not responding, it's a better response. Not responding, it's a better response. Take a deep breath and wait until you're actually able to put your thoughts together and ask yourself the questions. Why am I feeling the way I feel? And where does this feeling come from? Where does this emotion come from? And with more clarity, with more calmness, with more thought into the way you feel, you are going to be able to respond better. So practice becoming the observer of your emotions and regulate them, right? Regulate your emotions. Effective today, make a conscious decision and say to yourself, I'm going to be self-aware. I am going to pay attention to my thoughts and my emotions, and I will be the one who will regulate them. I will decide how I'm going to respond. Do not allow yourself to respond from autopilot, because it ruins relationships, it ruins opportunities, it ruins careers, it ruins a lot of things in your life. Because, now let's talk about energies. Now let's talk about vibrations. Let's talk about manifestations, right? Everything is energy. Everything is vibration, right? And everything is manifested from your emotional state of being. So if you don't pay attention to your emotional state of being, guess what you're manifesting, right? Guess where is your vibration at? Is it low? Is it high? Are you operating from a low vibration? Are you operating from a higher vibration? How do you operate? How do you act? How do you feel? How do you think when your emotions are not being regulated, when you just respond automatically from an unconscious autopilot? state of being. What do you do? What do you say? How do you feel? You know, did you fall back into your addictions? Did you mistreat people? Do you just lose your mind and go crazy? Do you get angry? You know, what do you do and what happens to you when you don't have control of the way you're responding with your emotions? So emotional regulation takes practice. And I invite you today to be in charge of your emotions and regulate the way you feel, the way you think, and the way you act.